Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Duels. This week we're going to be taking a look at a black-green counters deck with Winding Constrictor and all that jazz. It was submitted to us by Zakai Omar. Apologies if I pronounced your first name incorrectly. I've never seen it before, so yeah. But thank you for the deck list. If you do want to submit a deck for a future subscriber deck series, then be sure to leave it down in the comments section below, or you can email me, or via Twitter as well. All of the stuff's in the description if you want to find it. Quick little bit of admin before we get into the game. You may have noticed that I've consistently not released these on a Friday like I usually would, and that's mostly because of rescheduling with life stuff and work getting in the way and stuff like that. So, to counter the fact that I never release any videos on Friday, I'm now going to be releasing my Magic videos on Monday to Wednesday, essentially. Because I think it just works a lot better with my schedule. I've been trying to get it out on Friday, but there's always been something in the way that stopped me. So since I can't really get it out on Friday, and I know you guys are wondering where the decks are all the time, just know that it's going to be from Monday to Wednesday from now on. It should mean that the videos come out on time as well, because I don't have much to do at the start of the week. It's really busy towards the end of the week for me, so it's become quite difficult to get videos out on time. Anyway guys, I'll see you in the games. Okay, we're in, and immediately a zero lander, we're throwing it back. This one's not bad, actually. We'll keep this. So we've got Forest into Renegade map, which is going to trigger Revolt for the Narnum Renegade next turn. And then we get the Rampager as well as a Revolt trigger for a few turns before we eventually have to pay for the energy. Okay, Meandering River, blue-white for our opponent. Alright. I'm wondering whether I should go for the Evolving Wilds or the Renegade map here. Probably the Evolving Wilds, because it's going to stick a land into the field anyway. Yeah, might as well. Get an Evolving Wilds. Go for a Swamp. Suppose we could have Renegade map there to actually hold up a Fatal Push, but I don't think it'll ever matter, so we've got that for next turn if we want to do it. We don't even need Revolt trigger to use Fatal Push at this point in time anyway. It's only if we want to hit a 4-drop or less. Which clearly our opponent cannot cast. Still blue-white. Okay. This could be Flyers, Spirits. There's a Humans build that uses a bit of blue as well. But seems like our opponent's got nothing, maybe combat tricks though. We'll see. So we might as well swing in with our Renegade, see if our opponent does have something. And it looks like they don't. Okay. So the question is, do I want to start using the Rampager just so that I can get the energy to play it down? He's going to come onto the field and then immediately bounce and get an energy. Then the next time, it's going to go onto the field, bounce, and get an energy. But the third time is when it's going to stick around. So, currently really don't have anything to trigger Revolt, and we have, that we need to trigger Revolt for, should I say. So maybe I want it down for when the Gear Hulk gets here, so I'll play it out a little bit. Bounce it back, get some energy. Could do it again. I think we'll do it again. Why not? If we can get it down next turn, our opponent's got no threats on the board, so we can start putting some extra pressure on. And we don't currently need it to trigger any Revolt stuff, so might as well. So the next time we play it, we're actually going to be paying the 2 energy. It's compulsory, unfortunately, so we can't do this forever to trigger Revolt, unfortunately, which is kind of why I'm a little bit iffy about it being in the deck, but we'll see. Right, we can take care of that. Sacrifice the Renegade map. And grab ourselves... I think we've got plenty of swamps now. 2's usually enough, we don't have any double blacks. So, trigger Revolt, which allows us to use Fatal Push to take care of the bishop. So this might be Spirits then, I'm taking it. Still could be like Humans and stuff like that, because Bygone Bishop's very good in a lot of circumstances. Winding Constrictor, eh? We can get both of these down on time. I'm going to swing in for 2 first, though, because we can. So let's do that. Down to 16 for our opponent. And then play a forest. We want to go Winding Constrictor. And Greenbelt Rampager. It's going to pay the energy. And we're good to go. Winding Constrictor, for those who don't know. If a counter would be placed on an artifact or creature you control, you place an extra one on top of it instead. Same for energy counters as well, I believe. And don't know if this... Yeah, this doesn't do Planeswalkers. Sram's Expertise, get 3 servos, and then he gets to cast a 3 or less mana cost card. Core Blade Whirl. To give them all first strike for the turn. That's not going to do them much good, because next turn we're going to Gear Hulk and give everything 2 counters each, which is going to be lovely. Woodland Cemetery into Gear Hulk. And I think going 1, 2, 3, 4 for the maximum amount of value. Boosh. So our opponent's got 5 power on the board. I'm just wondering if I should swing him with the Constrictor, because he's gonna... We can hit him for 9 if he blocks the Constrictor, but then we lose all of our counter value. Whereas if I go with the Rampager, just on its own, he can't kill it. But he's not going to trade everything off then. But if we go on Renegade and Rampager, maybe he's more inclined to do that. Do I want to wipe his board? Well, if he goes all in on the Constrictor, then we hit him for 9. And then next turn, we've got a stupid amount of value. So I guess we do swing him with everything. And just go all in. See what he wants to do here. He might just triple chump. Just to avoid all of the damage. Looks like that might be what he's doing. Okay, I'm absolutely fine with this. Changing his mind. Okay. You're not thinking of taking it, are you, sir? No. Yeah, all in on the Constrictor is what I thought he'd probably do. Oh, maybe not. We're being very indecisive today. Sure. Double chump. That's fine with me. So he takes 4. We've got a decent board state ahead of us. Hopefully he doesn't have a board wipe here. If he did have a board wipe though, I think it's fairly obvious he would have just chumped everything to take no damage. Unless he was missing a land and then 4 couldn't guarantee he could wipe the board next turn. He just passes with what looks to be Avacyn mana held up. So if an Avacyn was to come down, he'd have 7 points of damage on the board. But that involves double blocking to kill something again. I think we just swing him with everything. Just keep that pressure up. Yeah, he's flashing something in. Or at least has instants to make us sack creatures. Ixus the Prison Warden. I've seen you quite often recently. So you can't block with him, but what you can do is when a creature deals combat damage, you can exile that creature until it leaves the battlefield. So for however many creatures he wants to let hit him, we're going to lose them underneath that guy. So we really do need a fight card to get our creatures back, but they'll come back maybe when it's too late. Who knows? So that's currently still too much damage for him to take, so he's going to have to double block. He's running out of time. If he doesn't choose soon, it's going to lock itself in. There you go. Okay, so he's taking 8 here. Come on, dude. Block. There you go. Alright, takes 10 down to 2. Takes some of our creatures away, but we keep 2 of them. Which means we've still got lethal on board. And with an extra Constrictor, makes it very difficult for him to pull out of this one. We'll leave that swamp in hand. Don't think we need to play it, so we might as well use it as a little bit of information he doesn't know about. So he goes for his land drop. Needs a board wipe here, essentially. Or 2 blockers. And the kind of blockers that means that he doesn't have to lose his Prison Warden either, because if we get them back, he's in a lot of trouble. Because that Gear Hulk will come back, entering the battlefield and triggering a lot of stuff. Niblis of Frost. If you've got an instant and sorcery before we go to combat, then he can survive. We get a Nature's Way. Alright. So, Nature's Way, Green Belt Rampager on the Prison Warden. So we're going to fight that. If it resolves, we get our creatures back. So it really has to not resolve here. Otherwise, we've won. Depending on what he's got in hand, we may have already won, to be honest. Ally Evasion. Is that to pump it up? Gives it +1, +2. Ah. Clever. Oh no. He bounced it. I think he should have pumped it, right? Maybe I'd looked at it wrong. Yeah, continue playing. We're going to go counter, 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 counter. Get 2 counters on everything. He does not survive the turn. We get in with our creatures, and that's going to be game. Beautiful. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next game. Okay, we are in. We have 1 tap land. It's a little bit slow, but I think we can make it work. Let's go with it. So we're going to go Woodland Cemetery here, which means we do go a turn too slow on the Renegade map. But then we can get into the Liberator and the Constrictor, and then I think we should be fine as long as our opponent's not being too hasty. Judging by their J sleeves and the blue-black, I imagine we're not going to be under much pressure, but later down the line, we're going to be in a little bit of a counter-war. Alright. Oh, that's interesting. Because now we can get the Winding Constrictor down. If we so choose to do so. I'm going to go Forest anyway. So we could go Renegade map to make sure the Liberator gets what it needs next turn. Or we could go Constrictor. Next turn, Ballista. Constrictor and Renegade map. If we set up the Renegade map now, next turn we can do things. Let's just set the Renegade map down. Pass the turn. It's to trigger a Revolt for the Liberator next turn, which I think is the most pressure we can put on at the moment. I'm probably missing a line somewhere along there with the Winding Constrictor to get an extra counter on the Liberator, but especially if we're to land. Well, I guess we could go Constrictor, well, Swamp into Constrictor, which leaves us up a Prey Upon if we so choose to do so. Next turn we can play Tireless Tracker sack the Renegade map to get a land to trigger it. And then Tireless Tracker's set up to get 2 counters every single turn, which is probably more value than the Liberator. Alternatively, we sack Renegade map, get the Liberator down as a 4-3 next turn, Tireless Tracker into a land. When we sack the clue is when we want the counters, so Winding Constrictor can come down then. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, sack the Renegade map. Get ourselves... yeah, we've got plenty of black. Get ourselves a forest. Our opponent is viewing the said forest. I'm sure it's a lovely little bit of art for him to stare at. I do love the Kaladesh lands. They're very nice. Thank you. And then we go Liberator. That's a 4-3. Play a forest. Pass the turn. Hold off on this Ballista for a fair amount of time. Especially we want to cast it after the Winding Constrictor because we get an extra counter. So next turn it's looking like we've got Tracker into Swamp and then... oh, we can't hold up green then, unfortunately. Unless we draw a forest next turn, we can't hold up Prey Upon and get the clue token from the Tracker, which would be unfortunate. Okay. So our opponent's holding up some nice removal there. And a Nissa. Alright. So, Nissa seems like a pretty good fit here. But I don't want to run it into a counter spell. I'd rather go to combat, see if our opponent goes to remove our creature. Therefore, dropping down any shields that he might have had, allowing us to play a Nissa. And if he is playing a decent control deck, this Nissa should do some serious work. Not immediately, but as it stands, should be good. Alright. Because if we can get enough plant tokens down and then go Winding Constrictor, Nissa's minus to put a counter on everything is actually to put 2 counters on everything, which would be interesting. So he needs, like, Imprison in the Moon to stop Nissa doing her thing, and we haven't seen any creatures out of him yet, so there's no board threats that he's put down so far that we'd be worried about. Alright. Well, let's keep going on the plant train. We could attack him with a plant token to send a message. Don't know if I care to do that, though, but if we throw a Tireless Tracker out, it maybe goes into a counter, but the Winding Constrictor's more important to us in the long run. Could even go Walking Ballista for 2 counters, but eh. I'll go to second main, see if he wants to kill a plant token. No. Okay. We're not going to send a message just yet. We're not in that kind of position. We'll go Tireless Tracker. Might see a counter spell here. No. Okay. Maybe end step removal. Yeah, Galvanic Bombardment to take down the Tracker. That's alright. And an Ob Nixilis. Okay. We can hit Ob Nixilis for 4 this turn with our Winding Constrictor. We could even play down a Walking Ballista as well. So, if we go Winding Constrictor, I think we can take down Ob Nixilis right here. We Ballista for 1, which is essentially doing a Ballista for 2 with the Constrictor. We minus Nissa, put 2 counters on everything. Yeah, we've killed Ob Nixilis here, which is pretty good. So, 4 there. And then we'll take 2 counters off the Ballista to ping Ob Nixilis for the rest of the damage that we need. So, remove a counter, and remove a counter. And our opponent's had enough. Alright, we're going to continue playing though, because I don't necessarily think we've won this just yet. Although we've got plenty of removal for any creatures he plays. He seems to be maybe blue-black control. Well, Grixis control. Glimmer of Genius, draw some cards. Sure. I think what we want to do is Walking Ballista for 2, which is going to be for 3 essentially, minus Nissa again. Get some extra counters on things, and I think that should just clear up the game right here. Sunken Hollow. So he's got counter magic open. And a few removal spells here and there. Does he choose to do anything though? That's the question. And passes. Okay. Ooh, Armorcraft Judge. We could draw 4 cards. We could also get really greedy and go for 5 cards. So, if we walk in Ballista for 2, that's 3 damage there. He goes up to a 5 when we minus Nissa, so that's 5 damage. Plus another 4 damage to 9. And then we sack it up to 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. Yeah, we can pretty much just kill him here. Alright, so. Walking Ballista for 2. Minus Nissa. Should be more than enough than we need to kill our opponent here. Swing in. Sweet. And we just need to remove a single counter from one of our ballistas for the game. Sweet. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. So if you did enjoy the content, then be sure to leave a like. As always, check the deck tech video if you want to find out what most of the cards do. And if you want to build it yourself, of course, that is an option. You could go and check out the deck tech for that. I'd appreciate it. I think you'd enjoy it. Anyway, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you haven't done so already, hit the little bell icon right next to the subscription button to be notified when I release new videos. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.